Hello everyone. This video will be about Dream's Pandora Vault Prison on the Dream SMP, also known as Awesamdude's Prison or the Creeper Crypt, according to the Dream SMP wiki. This mega complex is a massive prison complex filled with complicated redstone and other protocol that is currently built by Awesamdude, with help from primarily Dream, Bad Boy Halo, Antfrost, and others. The prison was recently revealed on stream, with many of the details being currently still hidden from the general public. Now, let's talk about the known prison security measures. 1. Elder Guard during mining fatigue, which makes the player mine several times slower, thus the prisoners will have to mine for several days on end. The second strategy that will be used is spawn locking, which is basically just forcing the prisoners to go and sleep on a bed in the prison. The third is a series of connecting nether portals to access the actual inside of the prison, completely mitigating the possibility of breaking in through a general front entrance. And finally, we have item-specific keycards or item sacrifices, which just means in order to access certain parts of the prison, prisoners and guards must sacrifice specific items into a chest in order to unlock a specific keycard to allow you to enter different rooms. Man, those are a lot of specifics. And now we come to some of the more complicated prison security systems, which includes guard spawns. Using an ender pearl stasis chamber, a teleport method using an ender pearl and some kind of stasis, which means maybe bubbling water, guards in the server would leave a pearl in that chamber, and which would activate if the prisoner were to attempt escape or set off the alarm somehow. The method would then teleport the guards into a chamber that would splash them with different potions and also equip them with the right equipment to deal with escaping prisoners. Guards will also be instantly alerted if a prisoner attempts to escape or sets off an alarm through an undisclosed text messaging system. And finally, the walls themselves, which are several layers of obsidian thick, and combined with the mining fatigue would take literal days for any prisoner trying to escape to mine out, even with a good pickaxe. Despite these advanced security features, there are still several ways a prisoner can possibly escape from the prison. And I'll start off with the most obvious one, using the method that the guards use for teleportation against them. Setting up an ender portal or a ender pearl stasis chamber beforehand would allow the prisoner to trigger some kind of teleportation, either with a friend activating the device or a very long timer, and thus just teleports the prisoner out of the prison and they are completely free to go. Second, sneaking in contraband with ender chests. When Antfrost visited the prison on his stream, it was revealed that there will be access to ender chests inside the prison. Now, this would make for a ridiculously easy way to sneak in, for example, explosives, weapons, or any other tools that would aid a prisoner in escaping. And last but not least, we have the possibility of guard betrayal. The prison system heavily relies on the guards to keep watch, as even the most advanced redstone is not really capable of stopping a player on the level of those who play on the SMP and other experienced players. So, in the case that a guard were to be bribed, the prison would lose most of its effectiveness because it would be reduced to just a big obsidian box. And now it is time for my master plan. The end dimension is a dimension that is currently banned on the Dream SMP, meaning off limits, and all the items that come with it, such as elytras, shulker boxes, and anything really to do with the Ender Dragon is strictly off limits. But the ban on the end dimension has nothing to do with the dimension itself. It simply has to do with the items and their capabilities. If Dream were to move the prison to the end dimension, all of the previously listed methods of escaping would be rendered completely useless. Now let me explain. Ender pearl stasis chambers would not work across dimensions and as such would be completely useless in aiding an escape. By placing the prison in a location very far away from the main island, the prisoner will be forced to build block by block back to the main island, and this poses several issues. 1. Building in the end is extremely dangerous as anything hitting you can easily knock you off the edge. Second, there simply isn't enough blocks to cover the thousands of blocks of distance that the prisoner will have to build to get anywhere in the end. Even if, suppose they fill up the ender chest with blocks, it's not going to be enough. Even bribing the guards wouldn't work just because the guards will have no way of getting out of there either. Now this does bring up the issue of guards who are dedicated enough to sacrifice their entire lives in the end dimension just to watch over a couple of prisoners, but considering the enemies that Dream has made on the server, I'd say that is worth the price. And now finally, to the final possibility of rescue. Actual people coming to rescue you. But the problem is, because the end has been so limited, the amount of building that players would have to do to just get to the prison would diminish them significantly of the resources that they brought with them. Which means that once they do enter the end, they are in fact trapped there forever because the rules state that they cannot beat the Ender Dragon by any means. And the only way to get out of the end is to either die or beat the Ender Dragon. And dying in the end, for prisoners at least, means respawning back in your little cubbyhole prison. For the rescuers, it just means losing their stuff, which is no big deal, to be honest. Now, as any good argumenter should, they should address the possible counter-arguments to their proposition. Now, one proposition is using enderpearls as a method of travel. The problem with this is that even though enderpearls are very abundant in the end by dropping from Enderman, they require a solid surface to be used, and by building the prison very, very far away, thousands of blocks away from the spawn island, and also building it right over the void, this would negate all possible benefits of the enderpearl. And that's it. That's how to make the Dream SMP prison officially unbreakable. Dream, please hire.